28 trophies in 30 years. On the 20th of February, AC Milan celebrated 3 decades of Silvio Berlusconi's presidency. His hallmarks are still clear for everybody to see. The real turning point was the 1987-88 season. Berlusconi signed the best Italian and foreign players money could buy and appointed Arrigo Sacchi as coach. Sacchi's 4-4-2 formation was revolutionary. He ditched man marking and opted for a zonal strategy with an intense pressing game. Before long, AC Milan had conquered the world and global admiration. Fabio Capello then took over and developed a more pragmatic 4-4-2. New recruits Jean-Pierre Papin, Zvonimir Boban and Dejan Savicevic boosted the attack. Marcel Desailly arrived to protect an already ironclad defence, and the Rossoneri won the 1994 Scudetto, conceding only 15 goals. The first variation didn't arrive until the end of the century. Alberto Zaccheroni switched to a back three, but still won the league at his first attempt. Glorious gifts were also to be found under Carlo Ancelotti's beloved Christmas tree formation. Andriy Shevchenko thrived at the top of a team brimming with flair and skill. Massimiliano Allegri was the last man to triumph with the Rossoneri. His chameleon-like tactical philosophy was invaluable. But that was 5 long years ago. To bring the good times back, Sinisa Mihajlovic has put his faith in the club's tried and trusted 4-4-2 setup. By following the club's DNA under Berlusconi, AC Milan have only lost once in the last 13 games, stoking belief that the glory days could return in the not-so-distant future.
Gianluigi Donnarumma is not the only young goalkeeper standing tall this season.
Fabrizio Allastra was the latest. Thrown into the deep end at 18 years old, he was fearless against Torino and gave his Palermo teammates peace of mind, fully repaying the coaching staff's faith in the teenager. His second outing at the Stadio Olimpico was decidedly less effective, but he still has youth on his side and comes from the famous Italian production line of fine young goalkeepers. Gianluigi Buffon is the most renowned example, who unsurprisingly made his Serie A debut as a teenager. Buffon has long fended off challenges for his spot as Italy #1 from colleagues who are 10 years or more younger, including the 23-year-olds Mattia Perin and Marco Sportiello, often decisive for Genoa and Atalanta, respectively. Rather like Dino Zoff in the 1960s through to the early 1980s. It's a precarious role, and making the jump from the youth ranks to first team is a serious business.
La differenza, diciamo, maggiore è la domenica. I 3 punti sono fondamentali.
The big difference is on match day, because the 3 points are always fundamental, always the most important thing. When I played with the lower level teams on Saturday afternoon, I didn't have the same approach. It wasn't a case of win at all costs. Then everything changes with the fans, the press, the TV. It's another world.
La stampa, le televisioni, comunque è un'altra cosa per quello.
But even teams with uncertain futures are unhesitating in trusting their survival to men in their 20s. Nicola Leali, recently turned 23, is entrusted with Frosinone's salvation. After promoting Pierluigi Gollini, 21, in March to first-choice shot-stopper, Hellas Verona began their revival. And then there's the face of 2015-2016, Gianluigi Donnarumma, who became the second youngest goalkeeper ever to play in Serie A at 16 years and 8 months. And to his credit, he did it with a club as important as AC Milan. The Rossoneri hold the record for the longest streak without conceding a goal, when Sebastiano Rossi went 929 minutes unbeaten. It's impossible not to compare Donnarumma with Buffon. Same first name, same precocious starts to their career, and same ability to handle the pressure. The Made in Italy brand is in good hands.
And talking about goalkeepers, here are the top saves from round 26. There is another Scudetto head-to-head in round 27 in Florence.
It was one of the most absorbing matches of the first half of the campaign. It felt like a final, even if it arrived only 8 matches into the new season. 4 months later, the atmosphere is exactly the same for the return. Napoli are second, 1 point behind Juventus. Fiorentina sit third, 5 points off Maurizio Sarri's men. The Viola put on a great performance in the first meeting, but were powerless as their hosts confirmed their blossoming brilliance. After beating Lazio, Juventus and AC Milan, it was their 4th win against one of the top sides. They have stumbled recently though. After defeating the Biancocelesti in Rome, Napoli took only 1 point from games against the Bianconeri and Rossoneri. The showdown at the Franchi is crucial to rebuild self-esteem and lift morale.
It's a moment when we're not taking advantage of the chances we're creating. It's definitely a problem that lies with us. But there's also the element of bad luck. Take Mertens hitting the post, for example. We need to keep on playing our football. The chances will keep on coming, and we'll get back to scoring them like we've always done.
Gonzalo Higuain isn't finding much to smile about these days. El Pipita scored against Carpi from the penalty spot, but his last strike from open play was on the 3rd of February. In the 7 matches when their lucky charm has remained goalless, the Azzurri have drawn 5 and lost 2. But Fiorentina should be wary. So far this season, the Capocannoniere hasn't gone more than 2 games without hitting the net. The Tuscans, on the other hand, seem to have got over their wobble, which lasted from the 6th of January to the 9th of February, when they won only 2 of their 6 games. After returning to a four-man defence, Paulo Sousa's team have rediscovered their conviction. And three influential players have crackled back into life. Federico Bernardeschi has the technique of a number 10 with the stamina of a middle-distance runner. Playmaker Borja Valero can change a match on his own. Nikola Kalinic, who in Bergamo last week ended a 2-month goal drought, will be fundamental to his team's ambitions. The resurgence of that trio brings hope to the Franchi, but the Viola have been petrified by the Partenopei of late. Napoli have won the last 4 meetings, including the Tim Cup final 2 years ago, and they haven't lost in Florence since 2009. The importance is so high that two of the most attractive teams in Italy will happily win ugly.
5 teams are suffering the winter blues.
The new year has not seen all the teams turn over a new leaf. Indeed, some have gone backwards. Take Sampdoria, for example. 6 defeats in the last 8 rounds without success. And to think 2016 started so well for the Blue Cerchiati with a derby triumph on January the 5th. But since then, the team has stuttered after some hectic transfer activity. If the league had started 9 games ago, Sampdoria would be rock bottom of the table. Over the bigger picture, they're only 2 points ahead of third bottom and next opponents, Frosinone. This year, Atalanta haven't even collected 1 win, having gone 11 games without victory. The only table they top is for red cards. Andrea Conti was the 12th and most recent player to be sent off after scoring against Fiorentina. On a positive note, Eddie Rea's side at least scored twice over 90 minutes for the first time since early December. A lack of goals has also struck Carpi, who meet the Nerazzurri next at the Braglia. At Torino, the Emiliani had no shots on target, just like in their previous away match at Napoli. But this lack of goals hasn't been fatal. In a table calculated since the start of the year, Fabrizio Castori's outfit would be 10th, with double the points of Atalanta. The Bergamo side hold positive memories for Udinese, who, like Sampdoria, are winless since defeating the Dea in the first round of 2016. The Bianconeri have only scored 5 goals since then, including Ali Adnan's, the first by an Iraqi in Serie A team. Visitors in Udine this weekend are Hellas, whose confidence is soaring after their derby success. Having consigned 2015 to the past, the Giallo-Blu are only 7 points away from miraculously escaping relegation. Empoli are on the slide. Their worrying streak is 7 games without a win. Thankfully, their excellent form in the first half of the season makes relegation a distant possibility for the Tuscans. Palermo are also feeling the gloom, fresh from their thrashing at AS Roma. The Rosanero have only once obtained fewer points by this stage, in 2013. They had 19 points then and were relegated. It's up to Beppe Iacchini to turn the situation around. He is back in charge after a 3-month absence and 5 changes on the bench. After recent events at Palermo, not much can shock.
Let's see how Udinese are planning to escape the relegation battle.
Taking into account results in 2016, Udinese would be third bottom. The reality, meanwhile, doesn't offer much comfort either, seeing as the Bianconeri are hovering above the danger zone in 15th place. Few would have predicted such a lowly league standing at this stage of the season.
It's a testing time in which things are not going our way. These types of seasons can happen, but Udinese are not used to finding themselves in a relegation scrap, having reached some important milestones in recent years. Together, however, we can come out of this negative situation.
A sign of the hard times came over the weekend when Totò Di Natale missed the chance to snatch a late equaliser against Genoa.
It was a real shame because I know how much he cares about the team. But he had the courage to take the penalty. And you simply can't fault someone of this quality.
Udinese have an immediate chance for redemption on Sunday in a relegation head-to-head.
Io sinceramente dal lunedì stavo già con la testa.
I've been thinking about this clash with Hellas Verona all week. And so have the rest of my teammates. We know how important this match is. It's a decisive match. We'll need to keep a cool head and not get distracted by anything, because we know we're an excellent team. We've had a few slip-ups this season, but we've always played with the right attitude.
Abbiamo fatto dei passi falsi, ma come atteggiamento non ci è mai mancato.
Felipe knows what is needed to steer the team away from the danger zone.
Hard work. We need to get our heads down and not take anything for granted on and off the pitch. We need to improve quickly so we can avoid the drop.
And now 4 matches and 4 interesting facts.
Expect late drama. 3 of Genoa's last 4 visits to Chievo Verona have seen goals beyond the 83rd minute mark. Chievo have run out winners twice, the Rossoblu once. There is little to split Lazio and Sassuolo. Only 1 point and 1 league position separates the 8th placed hosts and 7th placed visitors. The Neroverdi's goal difference is +1, the Biancocelestis is 0. This fixture holds a special place in Serie A goal-scoring history. In 2008-2009, Filippo Inzaghi scored his 10th and final league hat-trick. No one has plundered more league trebles than Super Pippo. Bologna can make themselves heroes by earning their first win at Palermo since 1934. If anyone can do it, Roberto Donadoni can. Since his arrival as coach, the Rossoblu have won 5 out of 7 away games.
And that's all for this week. As always, I leave you with the Player of the Week. Un besito, ciao.
Rome has presented its official bid to host the 2024 Olympics, but the Olympic Stadium needn't wait that long to see scintillating sprinters. Every time Mohamed Salah speeds down the wing, it's like the 100 metres final, an event the Egyptian wouldn't look out of place in.